Hey everybody, it's Mark with Old Soul Farm. Today we're in the shop and we're going to be working on a Christmas project. So it's something my parents have been wanting for a couple years, and I'm just now getting around to getting it for them. So I'm going to take you along that ride. Obviously we're still cleaning up from our bee season and just have to get all that stuff put away. So don't mind the mess, but I'm going to take you through how to prepare everything, lay out the patterns, and then do the cutting and sanding and then product. So here we go. We just got done with the first coat of primer paint. It's just white. It'll help protect it and saves a little bit of time later on when you go to start cutting out. It's a lot easier to get a good couple base coats on the whole piece of plywood rather than each and every single little bit of cut material. All right, so we've let this dry for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on. Now this side's mostly dry, so we're going to flip it because there's two sides to every piece. All right, so we got the primer and paint on each side. Now we're going to lay out the pattern, and I'm going to show you what I did to start when I did the last one, kind of as a trial, and what I learned from that. So I'm going to quick lay everything out and then tell you what I'm going to do this time to make it a little bit easier. First we have the manger, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Do the lying down sheet and standing up sheet. Then we have the fence. And the fence, you have one pattern, so you do it one way, do the tracing, and then do it the other way, and all that changes. You need to change your cutout, so I'll show you more of that later. So a 4x8 sheet, you can get one full set and then a couple more fences made. So the first time I cut out 4 fences, so on this one I'm going to do 2 major scenes, and we'll see how much I have left to do more fencing. So obviously it's going to be hard to see the white on white, but what I did the last time is had all this taped down with masking tape, went through and traced everything out really well. But now that I already did that the first time, I have a nice template. So what I'm going to do is take all this up, put down the old one that is not white, and trace it out and go from there. So there you have the layout. Now what I'm going to do is take a fine tip pencil and trace all my lines, and then we'll get ripping on the cutting. So there you can see we traced everything, and now we just need to start cutting. So some things that you're going to want to make things a little bit easier on you is a drill. I have a 5/16 bit in it, and that would be used for an area like this where it's cut out for the little halo here around baby Jesus, and all these little spots that have the holes that are going to need cut out. So you can see on this one, you need to get that cut out, and you have to get your scrolling saw down in there somehow. So I just take the bit and rip it down through there. Same with this area, and there's a bunch of that. So I go through and drill the holes with the 5/16. It's just enough to get the blade in and get working. now we're going to go ahead and dry fit everything that is cut out. These were from our original board that I didn't paint, so I already have them cut. We need to make sure this is going to fit into the actual manger. So if there's anything that needs trimmed off, we'll trim a little bit. So go ahead and dry fit. A little tight. We're going to go ahead and trim off some of this. You take some of that off. That's better. There you have it. So everything's dry fitted. Now we just need to paint it and get all the scuff marks off and take it over to Mom and Dad to give it to them. Before we start painting everything, I went ahead and laid everything out. I'm going to trace it on the back of our remaining board. We're going to get everything except our two side pieces for the manger. So I'm going to go ahead and trace that, and then we'll flip the whole board over, use that to use as our painting surface so we don't have to bend over on the concrete floor. And we'll go ahead and paint everything. And then if we decide to make another one, we just flip it over, start cutting. I've thrown a couple coats of paint on everything. So this is our stable for the original one that you've been following along with the two sheep back there. And here's Mary, Jesus, and Joseph and the two ends. So those, after this coat dries, should be about ready. And in order just to speed things up, I've been putting some coats on these couple over here and the sheep that are up here. So I still have to do the edges of those, as you can see. That's the part that takes a little while. Doing the tops and the flat sections aren't too bad, but getting all these little spots inside here and there take a bit of time. And then these are just some fun little projects I was doing while I was waiting on paint to dry, or just had a little bit of extra time and extra material. So I'll show you those at some point, but just throwing some paint on those. And I've had that fox cut out back there for quite a while. So figured I'd throw a coat of paint on that. So the next time you see this, it'll all be together and we'll take it over to Mom and Dad's as soon as we can.